All right, so to begin this course, I want to show you something cool that you may not have realized, and this will help to demonstrate the difference between front end and back end in sort of a real life setting before we get into the theory. So for this demo, I'm using a browser called Google Chrome. It's the one I use as a consumer and regularly as a web developer as well, but you might use Firefox, which I've got open here as well, and Safari. You can do similar things, pretty much the same thing, just with slightly different tools in either of these browsers, and I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. But let's go back to Chrome and let's go to google.com. Now you can do this sort of little experiment in any website at all, but I just thought we'd go with a website that we all know, and that's google.com. Now, a little known secret that you may not already know is that you can edit virtually any web page right within your browser. All you got to do in Chrome is right click on any element. I'm going to right click on this button here and click inspect. Sorry, I did that a little fast. Right click, click inspect. Okay, and what this opens up on the side here is the Google Chrome developer tools. If we go into Firefox and go do the same thing, Google Chrome, just google.com, go to Google on Safari as well. On Firefox, we can do the exact same thing. We can inspect element and it brings up a similar console down here. On Safari, you have to go to preferences and enable developer tools. So you go down to click on advanced, go down to show develop menu in menu bar. And then from here, I'm not sure what you click. I think show web inspector. And you can see similar things. So it's a similar thing in all web browsers, all the major web browsers. But as I said before, I like to use Chrome. And what you can do here is this is all the HTML and this is all the CSS. If we go into console, we can interact directly with the page using JavaScript, but let's not overwhelm you right now if you're just getting started. All I want to show you is that this is completely editable. So you can see here this value, right? I'll click off it and then I'll click in again. Just if I double click that value, I can now edit that value. And so you see here, it says Google search here, it says Google search there. I can change that to whatever I want. So maybe I say my search and voila. You can change the text on that. If you wanted to change the styling, which is done with CSS, I can go down to here with element style and I can type in color and I can scroll through all these different colors. I can literally color it whatever I want. Let's use chocolate, just because that sounds fun. I can even delete elements, so I'm going to click on this and press the delete key. Boom, it's gone. But before you get really excited and think, wow, I'm changing the homepage of Google, how is this going to affect everyone else who uses Google? Click the reload button and you'll see that Google comes out exactly as it was beforehand. And that's because we're just editing the front end. And when you press reload or go back to Google, it's sending another request to the server and hits the back end, and Google kind of uses whatever complex logic they have on the back end to determine what shows up here. And so anything you change in here is just in your browser and not actually on Google. But this, as you'll see at the end of the course, is super powerful to work on your own websites. You can go in and check anything on the front end, modify it live basically, and then you can figure out how to do that in your code editor or whatever. So the reason why I wanted to show you that straight up is because I think this is a practical way of like physically demonstrating the way the web works, or rather how the front end works, because you can interact with, I just pressed Option Command I on Mac if you're running Mac and using Chrome to open up developer tools. You can interact with any web page on the internet, any sort of the front end assets, the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, which we'll get into later. It doesn't show you the back end, unfortunately, because that is all private, but we'll get into why the back end is private and how we work with the back end in this course as well. And so what I'm going to do in the next video is dive right into the theory, which is a bit heavy, which is why I wanted to do this video first. And then we're going to get into some actual code. So I hope that was a cool little demo, and let's now talk theory in the next lesson.